Welcome to the 8th annual. Let's see. I need to get this thing. Yeah. Can you hear me? That goes for everybody. Well, we're absolutely flattered that you turned out on a day of fire and brimstone, and we've had to move our venue. And we're trying to do it, this is a work in progress, and we're doing it as we speak, you might have noticed. But anyway, the art business is the moving business. We're going to start our 3 o'clock program now. It's probably, let's see, in case you're keeping track, it's 3:16. But who's keeping track? This is about poetry. I'm going to introduce our two co-hosts of our first hour, co-MCs, Susan and Carrie. Susan Lovelace and Carrie Adams. They are both educators, and they have administrated our Teen Writers program. And we have some presentations to make, and we have some teen readers, and then we are going to shift into the adult sphere of the first hour. Don't be afraid to run a little over if you need. But anyway, here's Susan to start things off. And again, thank you all for being here.
Hi, everybody. Well, I thought this morning T.S. Eliot said it. April is the cruelest month. But I think we've survived, and we're going to be fine. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce several of our helpers here from the Future Business Leaders of Sebastian River High School. They've attended a high-stakes competition in Orlando in March, and they've won the opportunity to go to the national conference in Baltimore, Maryland, and they have their trophies sitting out. You might want to stop by their booth. The FBLA students that are here, Dylan Matson, Madison Mariano, Julie Mariano, and Lalo Ambris are working hard. They've been here since early trying to get us tables set up and everything going. The FBLA will make this trip within the community and raising funds to help defray the cost of their trip. So they would appreciate a donation if you have an opportunity to give them one. I'm going to turn it over to Carrie, and she's going to talk about our teen fellow writers we have here.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Carrie Adams. I'm a teacher at Vero Beach High School. I teach 10th grade English all day long, every day, which actually is much more of a delight than you may be imagining right now. As a 10th grade teacher at Vero, that's how I got involved with the Laura Riding Jackson Foundation and through the wonderful teen writers workshops that you're probably familiar with. That's a big part of the mission of the foundation, is to encourage and inspire up-and-coming writers, right? And so got more and more involved in that, and before you know it, you're standing up here, you know, talking about the Teen Writers Program. But our workshops, when students come to at least 3 of the workshops, they're allowed to submit a piece of finished writing that was inspired by one of the workshops, and then we take a look at that, and they can become one of our teen fellows in the Laura Riding Jackson Foundation, which is a pretty fancy thing to be able to put on your college resume, don't you think? Yeah. So we had a fantastic, amazing workshop again yesterday, and anyone who was there, I think, can attest to the incredible talent that these kids have. I mean, they just need the time and space to be able to create, and if you ever come out, you will see what that is about. I have a student here today, and I think we have, is Daisy? Is she here somewhere? Okay, good. Well, I have a student here that I would like to call up, and she is going to share a little bit of writing with us. Corinne DeVille was a student of mine, I guess, 2 years ago now. She's graduating. But luckily, I have the sister this year. Gilberly is here also, and also a wonderful writer in her own right. She won a poetry competition in the 9th grade, remember? Oh. So, very talented family over there. She sent this little bio. I'm just going to embellish it slightly, that Corinne sent. She is a graduating senior at Vero Beach High School. She is a prospective entrepreneur because she has got a crazy, brilliant brain and always thinking about opportunities. She is an amazing actress. She is part of our drama troupe. She does drama competitions, and she's just one of the most poised, articulate, just a phenomenal student, phenomenal young woman. She is in the top 10% of the graduating class. She volunteers at the soup extensively at the soup kitchen. She's, like I said, she competes all over the state for with the drama troupe, and she's one of my reading mentors. So she goes into, where are you this year? Beachland, Glendale? Beachland. By Beachland Elementary, and we work with at-risk students, struggling readers, on a one-on-one mentoring relationship, and she is, and Gilbilly too, are two of my reading mentors. She's always found comfort in the world of books and creative writing, and I welcome her to the stage one to present her with her lovely certificate for becoming an official fellow of the Laura Writing Jackson Teen Fellows. Look at that, see, fancy, fancy. And have her share just a little bit. I don't even know what she's going to read today, but I know it will be wonderful. So Corinne, would you come up here, my sweetheart? Corinne DeVille, please. Thank you. This is official. Look at that. See, look at that. Yes, look at that. I can't wait to hear what you're going to read today. So proud of you. All right. Blow us away.
Oh, good afternoon. Hi. That was quite the intro. I love Miss Adams. My name is Corinne DeVille, and today I'm going to be reading a poem that I wrote while I was working with a nonprofit organization over the past year. They help women who are victims of domestic abuse get out of their situation and then help them get repositioned back on their feet. And their stories inspired me to write this poem today. Okay. His mouth is like poetry, and everything that comes out of it is like a verse from a love story. I want to learn the grooves of his hands until they feel like my own fingerprints. I want to get lost in a dance with his arms wrapped around me. I want to find the purpose to survive by looking into his big, beautiful brown eyes. And some may call themselves two pieces to one puzzle, but him and I are like shattered glass, and we fit perfectly. Hopping to the rhythm of two different beats, but we always stand falling on the same damn feet. And baby, you call me beautiful so often it feels like it's my first name. So who cares about the cracked lips and shattered feet? That sometimes you get too angry and take it out on me. You're the only person who's ever truly loved me, so the broken ribs and twisted arms are a harmless casualty. We are an everlasting infinity, a symphony of white lies and kisses down scars embedded in me, cut so deep you could call my skin an origami piece, but I feel complete. And if I'm denied the right to be prideful of the life we've come to greet, then strike me down and strike me hard, because I will not say sorry for this baby, for this chance to make you love me, for the harsh words that sting almost as much as your fist as you beat me. For my faults that make you feel required to say these hurtful things to me, I'm sorry. For making you feel bad, and for the blood that seeps through your calluses after pummeling the life out of me, you must be tired. You must be tired of our poetry, tired of your mouth filled with beautiful poetry. Thank you.
Awesome. Our next teen fellow is Daisy Cabanas. She's 16 years old and currently a junior at Indian River Charter High School. She enjoys writing very much and often writes in her free time. She hopes to pursue a professional career in writing. The piece she will present today, entitled Friends, is a very personal piece about the pain of losing friends, and she hopes that you will enjoy it. So Daisy?
I was worried this would happen, if anything else. Again, my name is Daisy Cabanas. I am a 16-year-old junior at Inver Charter High School. I'm very short, in case you haven't noticed. And unlike the last reader, I have not memorized mine yet. I wrote mine last minute because my other piece was too long. And I believe the lady who introduced the last one, she tried to get me to do poetry, and I said poetry wasn't my thing. But based on this, it is my thing. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's based off of my fear of graduating in a year, which I guess all high schoolers must eventually face. It's a warm February morning when it hits me, and my heart quickly fills with fear that despite all this school chaos, I'll graduate in a year. 365 days, now that's usually a long span of time, but when you're a high schooler, that isn't much. It's barely worth a dime. And another realization soon hits, just a penny for my thoughts, that graduation means my friends will leave, and that leaves my heart in knots. People tell me to be strong. You'll make new ones in the end, but though I nod and understand, it still hurts to lose a friend. So that thought stays in my mind for the next few days at least, and as I think, I soon will find the thought has turned into a beast. A beast that is there lurking like the monster under your bed, but unlike the childhood tales of fear, this one is in my head. It roars and wails and shakes its head and keeps me awake at night, because what will I be without my friends who will ask me, am I all right? Because sometimes I'm not. We all have that day when we've had enough of all the stuff that other people say. Sometimes we just want to snap, to yell and scream and shout, but we know we can't because that's not all right, so we often go without. And just like now, those thoughts build up till I think I'll nearly will burst. And I get to that place, that awful place, and that place is just the worst. But my friends are there, and they help me return from that place. And when they smile, that's all I need to feel like I could reach to space. My friends are always there. They make me smile and laugh and sing. And they were there when others weren't. They took me under their wing. They've helped me become who I am. They've shown me I'm very tough. I don't need to try because why would I when I am good enough? And I know that I will move beyond. That's how life often goes. But they mean so much. How could I just let those friendships go? So I distract myself from thinking, and that day soon does come near. And sure enough, my time is up, and now that day is here. My chest aches with a sadness, and tears are falling down my cheeks, and somewhere I know that despite my show, I will be feeling this for weeks. I smile to the left of me, and I smile to the right. These are my friends, my family, and they make my soul take flight. I will move on, I will be strong, to let go is part of life. Because they were my friends, because they were here, they've lightened up my life. I love them dearly, I always will, to the moon and past the stars. But until then, when we meet again, I will treasure this time of ours. Thank you.
Thank you, Daisy. Daisy wrote a wonderful short story about going to a hotel where they rent fish for a night. And it was just a little bit long to read today, but she's also a wonderful prose writer as well as a poet. I want to turn the program over to Diane Conway. Laura Riding Jackson supports a program that we've come to call the Porch Writers. And the Porch Writers meet one Saturday a month out at the Laura Riding Jackson house, quite literally on her porch, and do workshopping of their writing. And she has some of the Porch Writers poets here today to present their work. If you've ever been at the house and on that porch, you can see where it's an inspirational place to write. So if you'll welcome Diane.
Good afternoon. I've had the honor of facilitating the Porch Writers group this year. A wonderful group, and it's grown over the year to 7, 2 men and 5 women. And as luck would have it, I only discovered this organization last year, having taken a poetry class and then come to last year's barbecue. And like so many have shared with me, felt like I found my home. So I'll kick off the Porch Writers. Oh, we're so thrilled because we have just published a chapbook, and we're going to make it available at the table. So I'll kick off the Porch Writers by reading the poems that I have in the chapbook. This one is called Those Eyes. Again, I drove past the trailer park with no more than a side glance, but the eyes of a young boy waiting for a school bus followed me. Now, as I sip wine on the lanai, soaking in a sunset, I see those eyes. Behind a boarded window, drinking darkness, watching rain cut a path through the patched roof, down a brown line on the wall into his mattress, dreaming of the gutted Camaro in the ditch he will never take for a joyride. I see those eyes flinch at a slur about his scruffy shoes, at the constant gnawing in his empty belly. I see those eyes multiplied by millions of children, hungry children, like stars scattered across the heavens, watching, waiting. They follow me. This one's a little more uplifting. This one's called querencia. And querencia is a noun from the Spanish verb querer, which means to love or to desire. Thank you. In English, it's come to mean a place or a state of feeling at home. Spanish guitars throb through moonlight into flesh, quickening heartbeats. Musicians cradling tenderly hewn vihuelas, fondling necks, frets, cedar curves, clapping in syncopated frenzy, mimicking flamenco castanets, send me floating over royal palms and live oaks, homing to that haunted plaza in Sevilla. Medieval walls dripped bougainvillea, blood of bulls, whispers of paella, Rioja, flor de naranja. Fingers clasped across the table, we were powerless to suppress giggles as the lace-veiled prima donna swirled a scarlet cape, arched her back, her brows, tossed black curls, stomped steel heels. Her partner, perched on a stool, slapped his guitar in the face, raking strings, crooning, weeping, grimacing. She stepped on his foot, you whispered. Doubled over, we slipped into querencia. So I'd like to invite our newest member to the group, Frank Martinelli, to share a couple of poems.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here and read some poetry for you. My lovely wife Joan, my friend, dear friend Lois Schwartz, and a dear friend Lee Day encouraged me to get up here. I've been writing poetry for a long time, but I've never shared it publicly, and this is the first time. So I think we're a little pressed for time, so I'll probably only read two, but so I think I'll start with Discombobulated. It's a poem I wrote recently. Discombobulated. Dim, foggy, opaque, distant, detached from the essence of the human condition. Senses and reflexes dulled and slowed. Life engaged through a Soji screen partition. Reason, clarity, and wittiness diminished beyond recognizable form. A pall envelopes one's faculties, disrupting awareness and perspective norms. A jaunt through an oblique existence, an exposure to similar but surreal. A familiar, subtle excursion, the morning's transition routinely reveals. The paradox, unaware presence, a sensory eclipse as each day begins, a stumbling, stifled, nearly stillborn birth every morning before the caffeine kicks in. And my wife Joan and I have 6 children. We call them adventurers, and 5 have left the nest. one is still home. And of those 5, they've all chosen to serve their country in the service, and they've chosen some of the most challenging entry-level opportunities that exist in the military. And for that reason, I write a lot of poetry that's designed to encourage them. And this one is called Alone with the King. Right now, we have a daughter, our oldest daughter. She is down in, she's a one-man reconnaissance team for the Coast Guard. She's an officer in the Coast Guard. And she's just been sent by the Olmsted Foundation to go down to Buenos Aires, Argentina, and live there for 2 years and go to college and learn the culture. That's a great honor, but it's also awful scary for her because obviously she's not speaking English anymore. She's speaking Spanish and trying to go to get a master's degree while she's speaking Spanish. Our son is right now in the Washington Mountains, and he's out there foraging for grasses and leaves that he can eat and bugs, and if you're lucky you can get a snake. And he'll do that for a week, and then he'll go into a simulated POW scenario where he'll be tortured. He'll experience what do they call that? Enhanced interrogation. And they do that to prepare any pilots that fly overseas. In case you're ever shot down, you're going to be familiar with how to deal with the circumstances of being a prisoner of war. This one is called Alone with the King. On a trek over mountains and across broad plains, crossing raging rivers and treacherous ravines, distant from your home and the land where you were raised, lower your head, lift your heart, and sing to God praise. When hopelessness stalks you like a ravaging beast, when sharp rocks on the trail cut and batter your feet, when the day requires more than the drive you possess, lift your face to the Father and ask He assist. Desperation will charge in an all-out assault when your progress is stymied and brought to a halt. In the midst of the battle, while engaged in a war, with reverence calm your angst and talk to the Lord. When demons dark and daunting stop you in your tracks, swarming relentlessly in a vicious attack, before your mind savaged, consider surrender. Summon strength from the Master, Lord of forever. Then when darkness and quiet signal your day done, time when your weary, aching muscles get to rest some, when your focus and vigilance can ease just a bit, thank the Almighty for blessing you with the gifts that permit you to persevere, persist, overcome, to fight strong through each day, to continue your run, to live in a manner that is rich in things right, with a heart that is pure and a soul that is bright. Do I? Thank you. Do I have time for one more? Is that okay? No? Okay. Okay. A sad one or another really brutal, encouraging one? Your choice. Encouraging one? Okay, here goes. It's called The Warrior's Toast. Raise your cups, my friends, to the warrior's heart that doesn't shy away from foreboding skies, or the might of the maelstrom's ferocious midst, where fear's exposed in lesser mortals' eyes. Clenched teeth concealed behind a determined smile, disregarding fatigue's fallacious deceit, the warrior's heart above all perseveres, suffering all pain and hardship but defeat. Raise your cups and drink long to the filthy few, who for unbearable duration lasted, sogged in the muck of the endless battle's brew, only to claim for themselves defeat blasted. Hold your heads high and drink for those who cannot, for in the grimy trenches they must remain, contented by their unwavering resolve, relentlessly pressing their victory claim. Stand and be counted among the very few who dismiss defeat's alluring melody and earn the distinction of the battle's prize, medal wagered at well-being's jeopardy. then walk life's duration with gracious stature, with confidence of a heart battle-tested. No adversity that one can't circumvent is simply challenge to be faced and bested. Thanks a lot.
Good afternoon. I'd just like to say that these chapbooks are available right outside the door, and it's a $5 donation. Everything goes to the Laura Riding Jackson. So thank you. Take a look. Okay. I think I'll do, let's see, read. Butts End. Haunted by your stale, smelly embrace, I wheeze and squeeze your poison. Frozen in emotional habit, I crave your toxic bite. Silent penalty injected, inside, body wide, infected. Tanks clank, new gold medal companion. Black widow's legs turn tubular plastic. Luscious inhales, once optional, now mandatory in nostrils. Jailed by years of brown ooze, lost lungs, collapsed arteries, rewards of tenacity. A past life sucking air presents a life aware. The smokescreen of addiction takes its toll. I gasp and grasp for life and love it too late to get out on parole. This one I think is appropriate for the weather today. Shades of gray. This morning, clouds swathed supple charcoal stripes on river and sky. Willing wind sculpted soft smudge edges. Contrary gay patterns of pitter-patter, splashed, splintered, littered droplets. Rusty rooftops mourn sunshine. Despondent of unwelcome hand, raindrops deftly dealt. Rained river ripe with slate, pearl polka dots sprouted swollen nipples, as deluge divulged chaotic aquatic scape. Nature gifts my day. Some of you may have heard this one, but it makes me think of my mother, so I love to read it. The promise. Mother, your absent fuels feelings of deficiency. You promised you would never leave me. Honey, our separation is an impossibility. We are one tightly woven textile, you and me, fitted with the finesse of the finest couture. We've seen, we've bartered, we've sewed, we've worn the blatant purple and pink pantalones of Lake Ponchel, the wheat peels of Guatemalan mountains. We have soaked in salt the indigo threads of Latin looms, wrapped and worn the batiks of Bali and Singapore, styled the silks of Hong Kong. Grandmother, you and me and I have powered the same metal, merging worlds on one singer treadle. Memory murmurs through our thumbs on thread, the whir of wheel and hum of pedal. We are, and always will be, of the same cloth.
Hi, I'm Carol Nichols. I'm a member of the Laura Riding Jackson Porch Writers Club. I'm going to read a couple. Being a Florida girl, the ocean inspires a lot of my writing. The first one's Saltwater Kisses. Let's let the sea determine our fate and swim with the monsters of the night. With saltwater kisses in between waves, our faces glow in the full moon's light. And for one night, heaven will appear on earth with a sky that feels like a dream. We'll make love, getting lost in ecstasy. Everything fades, leaving just you and me. And this one's called Her State of Grace. She had eyes as blue as the ocean on its most clear and beautiful day. Then dark clouds covered the ocean, changing her blue eyes into gray. She used to float on top of the water with the sun warm on her face, but the wind and waves grew stronger, taking away her state of grace. She used to swim with the joy of a child, playfully over and under the waves. A look of terror replaced her smile as the open sea became her grave.
Now I'd like to introduce Michael Howard. Michael's poem, one of Michael's poems, I hope you're going to read it, Michael, was chosen, is just published in the Indian River Review.
Thank you, Diane. This is the first time I've ever read publicly, so I'm thankful for the wine. I was born in Jacksonville on the banks of the St. Johns River, so this is that river has a special place in my heart, and this poem is called "Breath of the St. Johns." Her breath, my first, brackish brine, sulfuric and thick, pressed on my senses and implant on my soul, my infant milk to suckle a lifetime. In distant lands and future years, I long for her. I know her there, everywhere, wherever heat sears or cold numbs all thought but one of her. I know her well. She laced my discontent with her contrary flow so oddly north. Still she carries me seaward, ever seaward. We gain strength with age, with each new swelling, endless tidal rhythms, filling, leaving, seaward forever, always together. Her jungled banks, clenched tepid waters, tea-stained, seasoned with palm, tanned by pine and palmetto, a gator garnish laced with ibis down. Fueled by dark, eager streams and cold crystal springs, inland-born, seaward-bound, faint fragrance of Spain, of Seminole, all gifts for me as we seek the sea. Seaward, ever seaward, where winds rise to smite, storms seek the weak, where river and sea meet and ocean is born, our breath the same. This next one is a fun little poem. I've always been fascinated by Spanish moss. I love it. It's kind of an icon of the South. There's a bit of rhyme in here and a little bit of dialect, so I hope I can pull it off for you. It's called Where the Moss Don't Grow. Oh, I can't live where the moss don't grow. It'd be too cold, and sometime it might snow. Cypress and oak gotta look old and gray, and in the wind gotta whisper and sway. Some Yankees say he don't like the moss, say it blocked the sun, that the light be lost. But I can't live where the moss don't grow. I like it hanging round where the black waters flow. Sometimes I walk barefoot down that cool sand road through the tunnel of oak carrying my load. That moss be swaying and I be thinking about my girl, and that moss be flowing like her long dark curl. In the spring, when the azalea blaze around the trunk, I pick that pink blossom and with a kiss just for luck, place it in that gray flowing moss and curl, and know I'm rich beyond diamond and pearl. Now my sister say that moss be the beards of all the dead rebels them Yankees feared. Say they gotta hang forever for all to see that them rebel spirits still roam free. But my mama say that ain't right. Say the moon weave that moss on a cold, dark night, when the wind blow hard from out the north, and the river rise up, and the fear come forth. Say the moon weave that moss for a lost Seminole child, whose mother climbed the high cypress and cried aloud to the hidden moon for mercy on her child so young. So the moon weave that moss while that hurricane sung. Now that child was spared, kept safe through the night, while in that moss wrapped warm and tight. Then the moon come out, see the work of his hand, and so pleased spread the moss across his favored land. So I won't live where the moss don't grow. I like it hanging round me in this old boat I row. I like the way it dress up the pine. I like that moss. I like it just fine. One more? Okay, all right. This is, in World War II, there was a strategic bridge across the Rhine, and as the Allies pushed into Germany, it was still intact, one of the maybe the only bridge across the Rhine, and so it was a very important bridge, and the Germans tried to destroy it to slow down the advance, and it essentially ended the war about 2 weeks early. So this is sort of alluding to that bridge. It's called the Rock of Remagen, and the bridge was in the town of Remagen. It held up a bridge of great importance once, worthy of youthful blood, which ran in rivulets into deep, cold waters under the Remagen Bridge. Witness to peaceful crossings, greetings, handshakes, friendly nods, royal, strong, sadly strategic. Where enemies clashed, the victors took it from under the Remagen Bridge. Christened by war, indifferent to flags and colors, battered, scarred, burned, and blackened, but cleansed by neutral waters under the Remagen Bridge. Now, on patient display in a lonely, untraveled place, neglected, rained on, ignored, an old tiger in a failing zoo, no longer holding up the bridge at Remagen. Brass words, dulled by age, tell vaguely of faded glory, while new words speak. Such an odd stone, an odd place. It should be holding up the bridge at Remagen. Lay your hand on the rock of Remagen. Feel its fading heat, left now by a setting sun, no longer warmed by the burning bridge at Remagen. A seat now for the old, the weary, a step for the young, to see further through the trees and over the far hill. Perhaps they'll see the Rock of Remagen. Thank you.
And we'll finish up our Porch Riders readings this afternoon with our very own Barbara DeVoe.
The meaning of me. Someone gave me a small cardboard box shaped like a heart, plain brown. Of so many trinkets, she gave me a choice to fill with. Things, when revealed, would tell you all about me. A small misshapen piece of orange plastic says, I'm a diamond in the rough. I will never reach perfection, trying is enough. A steel penny of World War II era, rarely seen anymore, says I am rare, made for a special reason. 2 lucky pennies that I found are here too. They show I am rich in adventure, purpose, and friends. The eraser that sat on the pencil I used to write says I make many mistakes, things I use for lessons to grow. The small crystal heart reminds me to share all my blessings with others I meet. Although broken at time, it still sparkles with joy. A bright yellow foam star reminds me to let my light shine on others. I am the star of my life, but gladly share all when I can. Though chipped, cracked, with brown lines showing the stripe in my life, a shiny clear stone shows me I'm tough. Enduring, I am made smooth as I slowly erode away. If you wish to know me, all you need do is look into my heart. The quiet is not. Wind barely moves the leaves. It is quiet, yet all around is noise. In the distance, cars on the highway, tires slapping over the road's imperfections. Near birds call to each other, at least 3 distinct voices. Closer still, a fly buzzes round my head. The house gives a groan, creaks with age. It is peaceful here on the porch. The quiet is not disturbed by the noise.
How about this one? Last year I read something about my father, and I'll repeat my father, but a different way. This is called Mom's Away, Dad's Cooking. Zsa Zsa's Gabor's recipe for Hungarian stewed chicken. First, steal 2 chickens. She said that on Johnny Carson. Dad was more honest. First, check the fridge. 3 cups of leftovers. That's a start. Some tomato sauce, chopped spinach, half an onion. Starting to get hungry. Some ground meat. What kind? Who cares? A skillet, bacon grease. Brown the meat, chop the onion, slide it in. Going to be good. Don't forget the leftovers. Stir in the sauce. More soup than dinner. Add flour. It's the same every time. Plates, glasses, knives, don't need them. Forks, spoons for the boys, napkins to the table. Gone in 5 minutes. Dishes to wash. We'll help. Leave the pots. 70 years later, lessons learned. I still do the same thing.